Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS equals http://www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis XML lang equals enus prosody rate equals -3%. What if I told you the secret to truly understanding complex deep tech concepts? Break time equals 100 ms / like AI or IoT. Break time equals 100 ms / isn't just reading books or watching lectures. Break time equals 300 ms / it's something far more hands-on. Break time equals 100 ms / something you can start this very weekend. /prosody /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS equals http://www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis XML lang equals enus prosody rate equals -13%. For many, break time equals 100 ms / the world of advanced technology feels like a towering break time equals 100 ms / impenetrable fortress. Break time equals 300 ms / we consume endless articles. Break time equals 100 ms / tutorials. Break time equals 100 ms / and courses. Break time equals 100 ms / yet often, break time equals 100 ms / the core ideas remain elusive. Break time equals 100 ms / just out of reach. Break time equals 300 ms / why? Most people struggle isn't a lack of intelligence. Break time equals 100 ms / but a lack of doing /prosody /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS equals http://www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis XML lang equals enus prosody rate equals -13%. Imagine trying to learn to ride a bicycle by only reading a manual. Break time equals 300 ms / you'd understand the theory. Break time equals 100 ms / but the actual balance. Break time equals 100 ms / the muscle memory. Break time equals 300 ms / that only comes from getting on and falling a few times. Break time equals 300 ms / this is where weekend projects come in. Break time equals 300 ms / these aren't massive break time equals 100 ms / months-long endeavors /prosody /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS equals http://www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis XML lang equals enus prosody rate equals -11%. They're small. Break time equals 100 ms / focused experiments designed to take you from passive observer to active creator. Break time equals 100 ms / often in just a few hours. Break time equals 300 ms / think of them as your personal tech playground /prosody /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS equals http://www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis XML lang equals enus prosody rate equals -13%. You pick a tiny problem. Break time equals 100 ms / build a simple solution. Break time equals 100 ms / and in the process, break time equals 100 ms / you actually internalize concepts that once felt abstract. Break time equals 300 ms / let's start with the first step. Break time equals 100 ms / identifying a problem. Break time equals 300 ms / don't aim for world domination. Break time equals 300 ms / look for a tiny annoyance in your daily life /prosody /speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS equals http://www.w3.org/2001/10/synthesis XML lang equals ENUS prosody rate equals dash 13%. Maybe your desk lamp isn't smart. Break time equals 100 ms / or you want to track your coffee intake automatically. Break time equals 300 ms / once you have a problem. Break time equals 100 ms / break it down. Break time equals 300 ms / a smart lamp isn't one big thing. Break time equals 100 ms / it's a light. Break time equals 100 ms / a sensor. Break time equals 100 ms / a way to connect to Wi-Fi. Break time equals 100 ms / and some code to make it all talk. Break time equals 300 ms / each piece is a mini project in itself. /prosody / speak. Speak version equals 1.0 XMLNS equals http //www.w3.org/2001/10 synthesis XML lang equals ENUS prosody rate equals dash 13%. Now, break time equals 100 ms / for the tools. Break time